We are recording.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Jackson. This will be my 5th year teaching at Spixfield Infant School. I job share with Miss Timms, who is down at the other end. I work Thursday, Friday in Oak class.
Hello, I'm Miss Timms. I work Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday alongside Mrs. Jackson in Oak class as well.
And I'm Miss Engel. I'll be in beach class and I'm here all week. And you'll be able to notice that by Friday.
Did you want me to read the questions or the question, the main one?
Yeah, we start with the main one. I think most questions sort of overlapped. I think the same sort of things were coming up.
So I think this main one was there were sort of two. It was, what was the transition going to look like in September? Sort of be gradual, or will it be, full time? And then the other one was about social distancing, but maybe do the transition first.
So transition is obviously a little bit different at the moment, thanks to the current situation. We're obviously very carefully following guidelines and want to obviously inform you as soon as we know the best way to do it. Normally for transition we would have a part-time start, which is something which we definitely want to do as well in September. We will be starting on a Monday, so that first week will definitely be a part-time basis for the children to come in and explore, but also not be completely overwhelmed by starting school for the first time. Obviously, we will give you more details as soon as we find out clearer guidance from the government, and hopefully be able to get those to you within the next few weeks. We'd like to be able to give you more information by the end of the school term. Social distancing. Again, we'll just be following guidelines that are provided for social distancing. At the moment, school is very different, and the children have responded really well, so I can only put that as a positive. We're doing loads of things outside, just so it takes the ease of being in the classroom.
There's resources, etc.
Own resources, cleaning. Lots of cleaning, one person in the toilet at a time, and cleaned each time. And children are taking responsibility for washing their hands a lot more than they would normally, and being very aware of keeping the room clean, keeping the resources clean.
And they have all actually responded really well to that, I think.
Yes, they're their own hygiene champions.
Yeah, they are.
And they're actually really good cleaners now, so.
So I think they were the two, I think there were a few questions all the same about that, so they were the main ones.
Yes, so in terms of the shorter days, that first week coming back, it will probably be that they'll have lunch and then you'll be able to pick them up, so it will just be that morning session up until lunch. To begin with, so they get used to the playground and things like that as well.
The only other things on here about summer as well, or we can.
Should we open it for other questions?
Let me sit down here. If I see any.
If anybody does have any questions, if you'd like to use the emojis, the action signs, so you can share your question, or you can type it in the box.
Read it.
Yes, please.
Okay. I read that children aren't allowed a book bag. Are they allowed a rucksack, or is it just a drink? Do you want me to unmute you?
Yeah.
Hold on. Just need to find you. Just mute us.
Thank you for that question. I was just coming in, but I was still muted. At the moment, the children aren't allowed to bring their book bags into school. because we're limiting as much as possible anything that's transferred between home and school. I'm hopeful that in September the children will be able to use their own book bags again. They will have their own trays, so their own special places to keep those, which again hopefully will just increase the levels of safety. They don't bring rucksacks. They do have to bring their own drink, their own water bottle, and it is really important that they can use that themselves. They know how to open it, to refill it, for example. Obviously, the teachers and TAs will be here. We're not going to refuse to help somebody, but that level of independence will really help them and help their own self-esteem and self-confidence. So I really recommend having a practice with any drink bottles or shoes, PE kits, anything like that you have. Make sure you have plenty of dry runs, if you like. Do some role play being at school, so they can have a go, see what they can manage, and have, a lot of the time they can work those things out for themselves and gain confidence with those things. But yeah, I will obviously be able to confirm that nearer the end of term, but I am hopeful that book bags will be able to come back. There is guidance at the moment, sorry, just thinking aloud there. The content of book bags, obviously the main thing is usually a book, and we haven't been able to transfer those between home and school at the moment. But we are looking in September. Clearly we need children to be reading at home as much as possible, and using school books is one way to do that. We're looking at how we can have a system where the books do go home again. Obviously when they're returned, we will have some processes in place, so those books are put aside for 72 hours before they're sent to the next child's home. But again, we will be able to confirm those things a little bit nearer the time. I know it's only a couple of weeks, but in the current climate, that's quite a long time. And lots to do there. Thank you for the question.
Any further questions? You're very welcome, if you are using video, to put your hand up and we will unmute you and you can ask your question.
Oh, hold on.
Hi, will we have, hello, sorry, it's Daisy Medler, Daisy Medler's mum. Will it be closer to the time where you then send us the timetable schedule of sort of the day and how long they'll do? So could that change, or obviously depending how things go, any changes that may happen up until that day, so everything just gets confirmed a bit closer to the time? Sorry, Zoom is quite new to me, so just
okay.
And us. At the moment, we are doing staggered start just because limiting the amount of people that are coming into school at the same time, and we're doing a one-way system as well. There are lots of 15 minutes for each bubble class. Possibly something which we may have to continue in September. Again, guidance hasn't been particularly very clear, but there will be slots of 15 minutes probably. And obviously we will let you know as soon as we know, following what we're told, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, thank you.
Oh yeah, you are.
Yeah, Miss Engel's completely right. At the moment, the staggered start sometimes really well. It means there's a really easy flow around the system, and those 15 minutes just gives us time to get each bubble of children even settled before the next ones arrive. It may be that we can reduce that time scale slightly, certainly for the older children who are used to this system, or certainly who get used to it much quicker. But the staggered starts and finishes are likely to continue. When it comes to whether your children are starting on the Monday or Tuesday, as clearly as hopefully we can, so you know exactly what day your child is expected to be in school, for how long, and when their consecutive days will be. we know it's a real juggling act for parents, certainly when there's other siblings, when you might be working as well. So we try to strike that balance between settling the children and putting their needs first, with also all the other challenges of being a parent. Where will be dropping the children off?
Yeah, where will we be dropping the children off? I think my son will need a lot of reassurance and encouragement when dropping off.
We will most likely have to keep a one-way system. At the moment, everyone's coming in through the Lillian Road gate, meeting their class teacher and coming in together, filing in line. The parents then go exit through the car park gate. What's the name of that? Sorry. So there's that one-way system round. Usually, parents of reception children will be able to come into the classrooms and settle their children. We would love that to be the case, but of course, we can only do that if we're told it's safe to do so. And we wouldn't risk people entering into other bubbles, and I'm sure as a parent yourself, you wouldn't want other parents coming in and you didn't know where they'd been or who they'd seen. If there are children that are expecting to find it more difficult to settle, it's good for us to know that in advance. It might be that we can arrange for that particular child maybe to come in a couple of minutes later, so they're towards the end of the line, for example. So the teacher can then walk in with them, they can have that not quite hand-to-hand handover, but certainly that closer contact, that little bit more support to come in. So yeah, do feel free if there are individual needs such as that, or things you're expecting from your own child. If it's the school, probably best to email actually into the office address of the school, and one of the teachers will get back to you, give you a ring, or now to chat through those things with you.
Yeah. I've got some as well.
Yeah, I was just thinking as well, just adding to what Mrs. Jordan just said, the communication between us and yourselves is so essential for getting to know your child. So please trust us with that information, and I can't wait to get to know them. I'm sure you're the same. So the sooner the better. We can be prepared and ready and teamed up, ready to go to make that a smooth transition for the children. And for your preparation for summer and making it an even easier transition, we have just thought of a few ideas that we could share with you that you could be doing over the next few weeks, ready for September. Mrs. Jackson, you want to fire away?
It's things like making sure your child can recognise their name, especially with all their clothes that they come with, their jumpers. Everybody has the same jumper, t-shirt. So when we're changing for PE, it's really helpful if they can recognise their own name on a label. They can recognise their own name around the classroom. We do use self-registering where they stick their own name onto the wall. So it's really good if you can just practice that over the summer. Things like practicing mark making. So giving them, if you're outside, giving them a stick, they can practice making some marks in some mud. They might be able to start writing some simple letters of their name. Lots of swirls and big circles are really good for both their fine motor and their gross motor skills. We've got chalk, sand, paint, anything like that is brilliant to just get them using their hands and increasing their mark making skills. Another really easy thing to do when you're at home, counting. You can count anything. You can go for number hunts in the house when you're walking around Bixworth. There's lots of signs with numbers on, road signs. Can they pick out how old they are, their number at the moment, maybe 3, 4, 5, recognising different numbers around. Counting aloud is always really great. Singing lots of nursery rhymes as well, and counting songs. Playing games, getting them to take turns. It's really nice if they are already familiar with taking turns with other children, because obviously in the classroom we have lots of children and they have to be able to share, they have to be able to have that turn taking. So it's really good if they can practice taking those turns, playing simple games. Also good for their maths if you're using a dice, because they quite quickly recognise and substitute numbers to 6. They'll instantly recognise what 3 dots is number 3. That's really handy. Lots and lots of talking. Talking with your child is so important. Sharing stories. This is all really helps with their early reading. And as a school, we absolutely adore reading. We do a lot of work to promote our love of reading. And it all starts with talking to your child and sharing those nice stories with them. It can be picture books, it can be online stories. There are lots and lots, magazines, comics, there are lots of different reading material that you can be sharing with your child. We have, yes, I'm coming to that. Another really useful thing is practicing going to the toilet on their own, wiping their bottom. It is something that we do encourage them to be independent with, and it can be quite different. I know from my own personal experience, my children are a bit like, I have to wipe my bottom on my own. So it's just encouraging them to be as independent as possible at practicing washing their hands. We have been singing Happy Birthday to make sure we're washing our hands for 20 seconds. Washing them and really rubbing the soap into our hands, making sure we're practicing. There's lots of videos online that you can use to promote good hand washing. Getting dressed on their own, changing for PE is a whole new experience. If you can get them to put their uniform on and then say, right, let's try putting your brand new PE kits on, just giving them that opportunity to practice before they're in the classroom just gives them that, actually, I can do this, rather than sitting there going, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do. Same with school shoes. Everybody has brand new school shoes and they've never worn them before. Get them just to try them on around the house, going out for a day, just practice wearing them, have a look at them. Lots of children have the same shoes, so make sure they are named, because they do go missing and we do end up with just one shoe on its own. And lunchtimes, we obviously have hot meals. Practice using cutlery. Can they have a go at cutting up their food on their own? It just speeds the process for your child up. If they're having to sit there and put their hand up and wait for someone to help them, they can actually have a go and do it themselves. It just gives them a bit more of a boost, that they are independent and they are ready to do this on their own. Another really nice thing to do is, in preparation for our phonics, is listening games. Practicing, getting them to listen, go outside. What can you hear? What can you tell me about? Can you hear loud sounds? Can you hear quiet sounds? And just really getting them to tune in to their listening skills. We have sent home the Phonics Phase 2 sound mats. It's really nice if your child can start having a look and just looking at the pictures and seeing that there are different letters and they make different sounds. They might recognise the start of their name. They might recognise just a few letters. It's also quite nice if you can point them out and say, oh look, your name starts with an O or a B. So get them to start thinking about the sounds that we might be learning in school. And then the only other thing to really come back to, water bottles. I know Mr. Auden has mentioned them. everybody has their water bottle. Make sure that your child is able to take the lid off, because some bottles are quite complicated. And when they're thirsty and they're really struggling, it can be quite, I find it quite stressful if I can't get into my drink really quickly. So give them an opportunity to just practice with their water bottle. Same with opening bags of crisps or packets of food. Just practicing that skill is really helpful for them, and just to build their independence before they start with us. Obviously, we will help all we can, and we will do, if they ask, we were there to help them with everything, but it is nice to see if they can just have a go for themselves first, and then we can build on their independence. Anything to add?
No, I think you're very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of you will already be familiar with this, but we use an app called Tapestry. You will all be given an email address and login so that you can go on and have a look at what we've been doing at school and things that you can be doing at home. So we really promote, putting things on Tapestry. We do every week try and have a sharing afternoon or a sharing session, and the children really enjoy sharing with the rest of the class. And all of the teachers across the school can see, we could log into the Year 2 account and see what everyone's been up to. It's a really lovely way to share what we've been doing at school so that you can see, but also what you've been doing at home. It's lovely for us to be able to see and share with the rest of the class as well. So I guess the login will come out again closer to the time.
If anyone's changed their email.
Yeah, so if you have changed your email address, it'd be great if you could let us know. But if not, I think an automatic email will come out with login details. But it's a really lovely, way to communicate with each other and see what we've all been up to. Were there any other questions on these?
That might have started some more questions.
Where are we? What can the children expect on the transition day when they meet the teacher? What they will do? Children expect transition day.
Is this in July?
Yeah, a week.
Are these? Sorry, this is great. Are they for the transition sessions for
A week on Friday.
a week on Friday, or are they for the ones later in September?
Week on Friday.
Week on Friday. Yeah. I mean, we've
put together lots of games. We'll obviously be outside. We are currently in the process between the three of us of planning some really nice distanced games that we can play, that we can get to know your children. We want to include some things that they may make outside using natural resources. We will be sharing stories with them. We'll give them an opportunity to talk amongst the group. We will try and do some active, so that there will be lots of little things that they will be doing within the space of the hour and a half they are here. We will not be sat down for the whole hour and a half. We will be up and moving, getting to know each other through lots of different games and stories. Anything to add?
Yeah, just short, quick activities just to keep them energised, entertained, and obviously to make it a really positive experience for them, getting to know us and getting to know a few friends, so they've got that to hold on to ready for September. I think it would be nice if we could share a little bit of snack as well.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely time that we always have in the classroom where we have a chat with the children, sharing stories, and just being outside and getting to know them will be the main aim. Just making them feel relaxed at Spixworth Infants.
Just go through the process, so when you arrive, the teacher will be there. And we'll get them into a group.
So what to expect for those transition sessions in July? It will be a case of bringing your child to the class teacher, where then they'll have that session with the class teacher and a small group of friends who will all get together. That will be from the same class. You will need to leave your children for that hour and a half. We will look after them, don't worry. And then obviously come back for the same gate, then collect them after the hour and a half session. Any other questions?
Yours keeps freezing. Uh-oh. Is yours frozen or is it still working?
Oh, there's a new one.
No, same question. Oh, here we are. Oh.
It's just cool.
No, I think we've answered all the ones in the chat.
Anyone got any other questions they would like us to answer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it doesn't look like there is any further questions. Obviously, if you go away from this chat video call and you do think of something, please feel free to email us and we will get back to you as soon as we can to hopefully answer your question and any concerns or anything that you have. But I think that will be all. Yes, we can't wait to see your children a week on Friday, get to know them. And then September, start that new chapter.
Exciting.
Thank you very much for joining us today, and we hope to see you soon.
Yeah.